Hello everyone, this is Prasanjit Ghosh and welcome to the Masterful Master. Today we'll start with the part 2 of the Neoclassical Age. If you haven't watched the part 1 of Neoclassical Age, please watch the part 1 and then you can come to the part 2 of this lecture. In part 1 of the Neoclassical Age, we covered the Restoration Age and the Augustan Age. In part 2 of the Neoclassical Age, we will be covering the Age of Johnson, which was also known as the Age of Transition or the Age of Sensibility. The second half of the 18th century was dominated by Dr. Samuel Johnson. This age was known as the Age of Johnson. Age of Johnson is also known as the Age of Transition because this period marks the transition towards the upcoming Romanticism, though this period was still largely neoclassical. This age is also known as the Age of Sensibility. Now, the word sensibility means to give way to feeling and emotion. It is the ability to feel and react to something. The sentimental novel or the novel of sensibility was the genre which developed during the second half of 18th century. While the latter half of the 18th century was known as the Age of Johnson, Samuel Johnson wrote only one play, one novel and only few poems. So why this age is known as the Age of Johnson? Is it because of his good looks, which is there in the picture? Rather, it was his intellectual range and influence, especially his extraordinary contribution in a wide variety of non-fictional genres, including the oral genre, conversation, as recorded by his friend and biographer James Boswell. In 1730s and 1740s, Johnson wrote several political pamphlets such as the Marmor Norfolcians, a complete vindication of the licenses of the stage. Life of Savage was the first major biography published by Johnson. When he was 40, he started to experience certain degree of success by publication of his two long poems, The Vanity of Human Wishes and London, and his blank verse tragic drama Irene. It was only in 1750s when Johnson began to be recognized as one of the most important literary figures of his time. He published highly acclaimed series of the Rambler essays and his great dictionary of the English language. He comprised a novel, The History of Rasselas, Prince of Abyssinia, in 1759. The Lives of the Poets is a work by Johnson comprising short biographies and critical appraisals of 52 poets, most of whom lived during the 18th century. Oliver Goldsmith's first poem, The Traveller, is written in the heroic couplet and deals with his wandering through Europe. It contains a series of description and criticisms of the places and people of which he had experienced. In The Deserted Village, Goldsmith deals with the memories of his youth. James Thomson is best known for providing the lyrics for the patriotic song Rule Britannia and his masterful series of 4 poems under the collected title of The Seasons. Thomas Gray was well known for the poem Elegy written in a country churchyard that was inspired by the sudden passing of his friend Richard West. Collins' best known poems are the Odes to Simplicity, to Fear, to the Passions, and the finest of all, Ode to Evening. The Task is Cooper's longest and finest poem. Some of George Crabbe's work are The Village, The Library, The Borough, and Tales. Mark Akenside is best known for his poem The Pleasures of the Imagination. Christopher Smart is best remembered for his Song to David. James Macpherson became the most famous poet during his time by the publication of Ossianic poems called The Work of Ossian. William Blake's first publication was Poetical Sketches. This was followed by The Song of Innocence. Blake also wrote the Book of Thel, The French Revolution, The Visions of Daughters of Albion, America and Europe. Robert Burns was the greatest songwriter in the English language. Some of his notable works are Auld Lang Syne, To a Mouse, To a Mountain Daisy, Man Was Made to Mourn, A Red, Red Rose. Some of the prose writers during the Age of Johnson were Edmund Burke, Edward Gibbon, David Hume, William Robertson, Adam Smith, William Godwin, and James Boswell. James Boswell's Life of Samuel Johnson is the first great biography in literature. He portrayed the details of Johnson's powerful personality. Richardson, Fielding, Smollett, and Sterne, popularly known as the four wheels of the novel, brought this new genre to such maturity that it became the glory of England. With this, we come to the end of the Neoclassical age. If you like this video, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much and stay safe.